Story 1. My mom 60F wants me to donate my egg 30F. How to save our relationship. I'm in a really difficult and frankly shocking situation with my mom 60F. She's been married to her husband, who is almost 20 years younger than her, for about 15 years. She has 3 of us kids already and significant health problems, including heart issues and something similar to a stroke last year. Her husband has no children but desperately wants them. Recently, my mom has told me she's actively trying to lose weight with the goal of getting pregnant again. She already tried IVF using her own frozen eggs, which thankfully didn't work out. Now, she's asked me to donate one of my eggs. I am absolutely terrified by this request. There are so many reasons why I don't want her to go through with another pregnancy. Firstly, I'm deeply uncomfortable with the idea of my biological child being raised by my mother. Secondly, given her age and health issues, I honestly believe a pregnancy could very likely kill her. Thirdly, I can't even begin to think about what would happen to my child, my half-sibling, if she were to pass away in 10 or 15 years. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, her husband is a very toxic person, and I don't want any child, especially my own biological child, to be raised in that environment. This is an incredibly painful topic for me personally. I went through my first pregnancy last year, and due to severe complications, we had to make the heartbreaking decision to terminate for medical reasons. Now, my mom is actively trying to convince me to put off trying for another baby myself, citing health reasons, all while pressuring me to donate an egg to her. I know without a doubt that I won't donate. My question is, how on earth do I communicate this to her? I'm also feeling incredibly angry at her for even putting me in this position. What should I do? Comment 1. You literally just say no. This is not something you are comfortable doing. Coming from someone who has done egg donation 3x times, it's not a simple process. Comment 2. My daughter donated her eggs. It is a long, complicated, and uncomfortable and unpleasant process, and expensive too. You are correctly angry with your mom because it's a selfish ask as well as a stupid one. When all she is trying to do is baby trap someone closer to your age, you should be running screaming, and probably would be if she weren't your mom. Read her some of the answers here. She should be ashamed of herself. Comment 3. If my parent pulled this shit on me, I'd be done with them. The delusion and selfishness is just too much. Comment 4. Tell her no, and that you want her to stop asking. How is it even possible for her to have a baby at that age? Isn't she post-menopause? Story 2. Update. My mom 60F wants me to donate my egg 30F. How to save our relationship. Hi everyone. I wanted to share an update on the crazy situation with my mom asking me to be an egg donor. First off, thank you so much for all your ideas and support. One commenter suggested writing down my feelings, and that was absolutely brilliant. I really struggle to communicate clearly when I'm nervous and speaking, so putting it in writing made a huge difference. I gathered all your points and suggestions and sent my mom the following message. Hi, Mom. I talked to my doctor and reviewed/researched the topic of the donation. I will not be doing that. I do not qualify for this anyways. I also find it quite inconsiderate to ask me for that after my experience last year. I as well very disappointed that you did not give a second thought on how it will influence me, my mental health, and the dynamic of the relationships in our family. Regarding your pregnancy, it is fully your decision, but I would like you to consider the following points. I am worried how it will affect your health. Pregnancy is a complicated and dangerous experience given your condition. Even the best doctors won't be able to help in certain situations. Little bro's name is still way too young and still needs you a lot. It is irresponsible towards him. Pregnancy in 60s has high chances of abnormality. It is irresponsible towards this hypothetical child. Even if it all works out, I am afraid you won't be able to provide necessary care to this child ESP in his teens/young adulthood. You will have to do childcare alone. We both know your HB won't help, and you just started to do the self-care you needed. Additional stress and work is not what you need at this stage in your life. You should be enjoying your retirement. I really hope you will look into this before you decide to proceed. I was left on read for a while, and honestly, I was bracing myself for another period of no contact. But then she replied, and shockingly, she apologized. She actually said I was right and that she didn't mean to offend me. The only thing she disagreed with was my point about her activity levels in her 80s, claiming she'll be very active and that it's more of a psychological barrier. I simply replied, sure, I hope you stay active until your 100s. And that was the end of the conversation. I'm still completely stunned at how smoothly it went. I know it might not sound like a dramatic update, but for me, this is huge. My mom never apologizes. I'm wondering if maybe she didn't truly want this pregnancy as much as she was saying, or perhaps the failed IVF round was more of a wake-up call than she let on. Anyway, I'm still processing it all. Any further thoughts on this? Comment 1. That's a pretty reasonable result after top-tier Delia LaBalle from Ops Mom. Comment 2. I just gotta say, any DR doing IVF on a 60-year-old woman should lose their license. Comment 3. I am absolutely delighted. This is the best possible outcome. It sounds like she was is struggling mentally a lot, and had clung on to this delusion both about getting pregnant and how easy it would be for you to donate an egg, and your message finally snapped her out of it. Fingers crossed that's the end of it now, and she's not going off buying donor embryos and things. Story 3. I, 31M, told my girlfriend, 29F, she has a year to start taking better care of herself, or I think it's best we separate. My girlfriend and I have been together for several years now, and the past year or so has been really difficult for her. She's been struggling quite a bit, and it's reached a point where I'm not sure what to do anymore. For some context, I've always been self-sufficient. I live on my own, have a stable job in healthcare that I love, and take care of everything around the house, from the bills to meal prep, cleaning, and general tidying. I do have my own issues. I kicked a daily drug habit about a year ago, and I've been pretty successful staying sober. I drink occasionally, smoke some weed, and sometimes dabble in psychedelics. A little under a year ago, we moved in together. For her, this is the first time living outside her parents' home. Since we moved in, things have been tough. She's messy, lethargic, and can't seem to keep a job. She's been laid off a few times in the past few years, and every time we talk about her finding a stable career, she shuts it down. I end up doing most of the chores. I handle the trash, the dishes, and general upkeep. She mainly cleans the floors. I'm also the one who brings up finances and her overall well-being. Things really came to a head last night. I came home from visiting family to find her in a foul mood. She's almost always overstimulated, spends hours scrolling through TikTok, and has trouble holding a conversation. I tried being playful, but she told me I was overstimulating her. Eventually, I texted her saying that she has a year to address some health issues she's been dealing with. I believe it's thyroid issues, but she also likely has depression and possibly ADHD, though that's never been diagnosed. I told her she needs to get into a stable career and start therapy, or I don't know if we can continue. Her response? Okay, then just leave me if you're that unhappy. I'm frustrated. I want to help her get back on her feet, but it feels like she has zero energy or motivation to try. Lately, it's starting to feel less like a partnership and more like I'm in a caretaker role. She has so many good qualities, but she's struggling to keep up with basic responsibilities like paying bills, cleaning, or even taking care of herself. We're about to renew our lease, and I'm seriously questioning whether it's worth putting in another year of this. I want to give her time to get better, but her attitude suggests she might not even have the desire to change. The thing is, I'm not doing this for me. It's because I genuinely want her to be healthy and functional. Thanks for reading and for any advice. Edit. I just want to clarify a few things based on the comments I've been getting. Yes, she has depression and likely ADHD, but she hasn't been officially diagnosed. Some people have pointed out that she stood by me during my addiction phase. To be clear, I was a high-functioning addict. I managed to hold down a full-time job in a critical care healthcare position at a major hospital during the pandemic. I meal prepped, kept up with therapy, and stayed relatively healthy. There were certainly mental struggles, but as far as support from her, it was minimal. I was high functioning and didn't need much support, so that's been a factor. The problem isn't that she has issues. I get that everyone has their own battles. The issue is that I've been gently encouraging her for a year to take action, but it's like she's stuck in a state of inertia. Maybe I'm projecting my own proactive nature onto her because of my background in healthcare. When there's a problem, I seek solutions, particularly when it comes to health. We did talk a bit yesterday, and she said she won't accept financial support from me to help with her health because she's afraid I'll hold it over her. I understand her fear, considering she's been unreliable in paying her fair share of bills and other expenses. But this is different. I'm not asking for anything in return, just wanting her to get the help she needs. At this point, I think that may be the tipping point. If she's not willing to accept help to get healthy, I'm not sure where we go from here. I've decided to give it 6 more months, though. We're going to sign a shorter lease for half a year, so I still have time to think things through. I do still love her, and she has so many redeeming qualities. We get along on a lot of levels and share similar values and long-term goals. But I'm seriously questioning whether she's capable of putting in the work to get to those goals, and whether I can keep doing this. I really appreciate all the feedback. I'll keep you all posted. Hope you have a good weekend. Comment 1. Sorry, but she told you she's not going to use this year the way you told her to. Believe her. Comment 2. Seems like a good time to split. She has to want to change and she doesn't. Comment 3. She's 30 years old. If she was a brand new adult, my response may be different. I am with you on this. She honestly sounds depressed, among other things. But it's always been my belief that as adults we are responsible for ourselves. An ultimatum may have been the shock she needed to address her issues and try to turn things around. But her response shows she has zero intention of doing that. Comment 4. Why give her the year? If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you in the next video.